What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? This is your boy, the chosen one, and I'm here with a special guest today. But you guys already know it's Wednesday, and when it's Wednesday, it's the Sports Lounge Media. Oh no, when it's Hump Day, it's the Sports Lounge Media. But anyway, we're gonna get to it. Welcome to the lounge, everyone. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We got our guy. Mr. John Hamilton down below, as you guys can see. He's our guy that goes on every Monday to give you all that it has to do with bets. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you joining us too, John. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
thanks for having me.
Yeah, and Mark, you guys know him. He's your Tennessee fan. Sometimes he wears a Green Bay Packer hat, but mostly Tennessee. So go ahead and give us our proud sponsors.
Yeah, of course, we've got number one sports fan located in Tulare, Visalia, Hanford, and West Covina, Los Angeles. We also have Kelly Built Graphics, who takes care of all of our shirts, hats, decals. We got your decals right here. We also got new ones coming out that's going to actually have the QR codes on them. But we got that set up. Along with the web store is in the process that we will have. Hopefully, we're looking at by the beginning of October. And last but not least, we have Brian Martino Construction. Hit up Brian at brianmartinoconstruction.com. Let them know that the Sports Lounge sent you on any job $10,000 or more. He'll give you $1,000 off. Now, the greatest thing about here at the Sports Lounge is we are powered by the Mogul brand and the Diamond Collection. You hit them up powered by TMB.com. Put in the Sports Lounge, and that will give you 20% off. And Mike, Chosen, tell us a little bit about this Diamond Collection water.
Yeah, super excited about the Diamond Collection and everything that has to do with that. We have 77 essential minerals in every bottle that you make with the concentrate. It reoccurring electrolytes, holds its pH at 10. It stabilizes, guys. So like when you go to a store, right, and you get electrolyte water and you take off the top, it loses its pH. Well, with ours, it stabilizes because of the humic and fulvic minerals. These are things that you can Google, but the humic and fulvic works as a brother and sister to be able to give you the best hydration possible. On top of that, it has soil-based probiotics straight from the soil. We don't manipulate anything. No artificial flavors, no sweeteners, no sugars, nothing whatsoever. GMO, non-GMO, USDA approved, and also kosher. So if you guys are wondering where to get that and everything that we have with the Diamond Collection, again, visit us at www.poweredbytmb.com. Put in Sports Lounge Media or SLM, and you will get 20% off. But there's something I want to show you guys.
Dollars and more, he'll give you $1,000 off. Now the greatest.
There, you still there? You can hear me now. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So one thing that I will tell you guys is that I created something, and you guys are going to be the first to see it. This is called your Radiant Squares. When anybody knows what a Radiant diamond is, there's a lot of it's a beautiful cut and beautiful diamonds. But here is the first ever nano-sized vitamins in your gummy form, and each of them is a different flavor. So you got a variety of flavors here. These are going on the market in 1 week. I recreated those. It has everything. It has all of what with the Diamond Collection has as far as minerals, but this one also has nano-sized vitamins. So your vitamins for the day, you can have that. And guess what? Women that are out there and you're pregnant, right? And you want to take a prenatal and you want something a little bit more healthier, a little bit more better, and it tastes a lot better, go with your Radiant Squares. Those are going to help you way more than a prenatal pill. But anyways, that's enough. Again, visit us at www.poweredbytmb.com, and you know the promo code to put in. Get 20% off, and that is our newest product that just hit.
It's exciting.
Guys, we're going to dive into it. Give me 1 second. We're going to do a recap. Hold on. We're good now. We're going to do you guys can hear me okay?
Yep. good.
We had technical difficulties a little bit on my end, but we're gonna dive right into it. We're gonna dive in, guys. We started week one. Are you guys excited about that? Week one is already here. Something we've been talking about for weeks on end, and now we are finally here, boys. We're about to bring the energy tonight because week one just happened, and this is what we've been waiting for. You guys excited?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, a lot to take away from week one for sure.
Yeah. There's people on TikTok that says you can't look at week one and determine that that's how a season is going to go. But what I look at is what are some of the things that I mean, I watch all 22, and there's some things you could take away from week one that could tell you how your season can kind of go. I mean, maybe not give you the whole scope, but it could give you some things. It could give you some hints, right? Or am I
Yeah.
wrong?
No, I think you're correct. Absolutely. I think the biggest takeaways is that seeing the teams from last year on the top 10 and how they performed in the first week, a lot of them are still within that range of being in the top 10 team. And kind of the teams that we expected to win did win. There were some fluke games, in my opinion, but also a lot of teams still dealing with lingering injuries carrying into the 2025 season is affecting how they're playing. So it's a lot of interesting stuff that I've seen so far in week one.
Yeah.
Some great highlights already in week one.
Yep.
And just very excited for the football season ahead of us.
100%. Let's jump right into it. So we started off the season with dropping the banner with the Philadelphia Eagles playing against them Cowboys, and the Cowboys came into the link with some energy. I don't know if we're gonna talk too much about the stuff that happened during that game. We could touch on it just a little bit. We started off the season with the Philadelphia Eagles dropping the banner, and Jalen Carter gets suspended. Or not suspended, but he got fined $57,000 from that game for a spit on Dak. Do you guys think, as we jump into that conversation, do you think that that was fair enough for Jalen Carter, or what is your takeaway from that incident? Because it happened in Miami as well, but we're not going to talk about the Miami college game. But let's just try to focus on Jalen Carter's situation.
I'm just going to say this. To me, if you're going to find one guy and going back on the video proof and seeing that Dak spit in the direction, it's still a form of taunting. Whether you spit on them or towards them, that's exactly what's stated in the rule book. So if you're going to find one guy, you need to find the other. I do think that that's why they did not suspend him, because when they looked back at the evidence and they're trying to say, well, you spit on him in his, compared to spitting towards him. So that's probably what they did. But it's one of those things that certain players, certain teams, certain quarterbacks, especially, tend to have things swept on the rug, under the rug. We were talking about that earlier off air, but yeah, some of those guys, they manage to get things swept under the rug, and it should not happen. And I don't think it's right. I think you have to implement some sort of fine against Dak as well.
Yeah, John. So, do you think that the fine was fair, or what's your assessment of the whole situation?
I think things are a little bit blown out of proportion due to the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles are the reigning Super Bowl champions and they're under a bigger spotlight than more teams in the NFL. I think that's the reason that they were essentially the first team to play in the opening game. The Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champion, division game. It's a big game. And a lot of people are hyped up. They're excited for the football season, including the players. And the heat of the moment, what had happened was not appropriate. I'm not one to say that it's right or wrong for however the fine got put onto Jalen Carter, but I definitely agree with what Mark said. If the fine's going to go one way, it needs to be addressed onto the other hand. And if it did, obviously it's not known to the public knowledge that Dak got fined or didn't get fined, or if any, sort of punishment got towards him, because it was initiated by Dak from reviewing the tape. However, Jalen Carter being out one game and the Eagles still winning just shows the strength of the Eagles and how well they can still perform against a strong divisional rival. But yeah, I think that 57,000 in the context, looking at what Jalen Carter's contract is, if that comes out of his contract, it's not going to hurt him that much. I think it's more to publicize the drama effect of, football season's back in. This is what we're finding him. Take it. Let's move on to week 2.
Yeah. Yeah, my takeaway is a little. I mean, it states in the rule book if one gets ejected, they both get ejected. I think Dak should have been ejected as well, or if they're using Jalen Carter as that game as a one game suspension, I think that Dak in this next game needs to be out. That's just my take on it. I don't condone spitting on another human being at all.
Mhm.
That's not what I'm stating at all, but I'm just saying that if one is spitting at one and the other one, like it should be fair across the board. Um, but yeah, so we got some. Let's see here. We got down South Philly coming in here. It said it must be Wednesday. You already know. Hump day. And then you got that. He said, I'll take it. 57,000. He said, also, let's keep the spit in our mouth going forward, please. Yeah, we don't need, we're gonna jump into this game, and I'll start it off by saying this game is a rival game, as John has mentioned. It's a divisional game, a lot of hype behind it. One thing that we didn't need is Jalen Carter to be out, because what happened when he got out? Well, what happened, guys, is that they ran it down the middle. They ran it straight down their
Mhm.
throats, and they forced us to figure it out right off the gate, and they got him in this game. And that goes to show you that how important Jalen Carter is. Now you don't have to double team, right? So that adds another on the pass rush, and that's why there's multiple balls thrown to CD Lamb. Now he is sponsored by the candy bar Butterfingers, but we are not going to talk about that today. We're here to talk about the ability that Dak is back, and he's shown that he could be competitive. He was competitive in this game, but who came on top was the Philadelphia Eagles. And like John said, we did show the adjustment in second half on how much that we could be a threat with our rotation. And we look strong. Now on the offensive side of the ball, Saquon didn't have the game that we thought he was going to have. They zeroed down on him. But I mean, what about this Jalen Hurts guy? He did throw, I think, for 128. I think he threw. Was it 128 that he threw for?
About that, yeah.
Something around there, somewhere in that ballpark. But he also ran the ball with 2 touchdowns. Um, Hold on one second. Yeah, so he threw for
One, 152.
152. Yeah, he was 19 for 23, 152. No touchdowns thrown.
Mhm.
He also carried the ball 14 times for 62 yards with 2 touchdowns. That showed that he could get it done with his legs too, and how much is he a threat with both sides of both sides of the ball. One frustration that I did have is AJ Brown, with 1 minute left in regulation, finally got one target and one catch. That cannot happen going forward, Eagles. That
I
cannot
know
go.
I know that fantasy people that drafted AJ are pretty upset by that performance and play calling, but at the end of the day, it's about the football and the football game, and the Eagles were able to take away with what they needed to win that game.
Yeah. And the other thing that was really good, where he also got his yards, was Jahad Dotson. You know,
Yeah,
he was absent from last year, and this year he got involved. I
I
mean, in
saw
the
that.
first game he was involved. So there's some little things that were really popping out to me, where he was getting the ball too. Obvious Dallas got her as well, but the Eagles did win that game 24-20 in a tight one, which I didn't think it should have been tight. I think we do BTA the next time around. But I mean, it is a win. It is a win. And then DP did take the words out of my mouth. Um, he also said a win is a win.
A win is a win.
What do you think about this game, Mark?
I actually agree with exactly what was said. I don't think that Philadelphia played as well as they should have. They had to make adjustments on defense. I do think that with that coming back the full season, coming off of injury, so with what he did was decent. CD, getting that new sponsorship with Butterfingers, that was a pretty interesting one. I mean, but I think the biggest thing for them was, of course, the
Oh
Miles
man.
Sanders fumble.
Oh my gosh. Hey,
Yeah,
but here's another thing though to take away, and I'd like to get your thoughts before we move on to this Chiefs and Charger game. So the Eagles did pick up Tank Binsby, right? They also picked up Zadarius Smith, correct? So
Mhm.
what does that do for the Eagles? What does that do for the Eagles now that they kind of moved into that veteran role on both sides of the ball? now they got three backs, legitimate backs, and now they have a true pass rusher. What does this do for the Philadelphia Eagles going forward?
I'm going to say this. I think Zadarius Smith is going to take the place of Fletcher Cox.
Okay,
They didn't. They
that's
did
fair.
not have Zadarius. You know, watching him play in Detroit, obviously seeing him play in Green Bay, um, and now that Fletcher retired, and to me, with Jalen Carter, being there, and it does help stop the run up the middle, but they don't have someone coming in off the edge, and a guy like Zadarius Smith has that capability, and he has also very good leadership. A lot of people had talked about in Green Bay and in Detroit when it came to the defensive line. He was a veteran voice and leader and was able to help mentor and grow people. And so I think that's one of the things that the Eagles need with a young defensive front. So I actually think the Zadarius Smith pickup actually is a little more beneficial than the Bigsby. I think the Bigsby was irrelevant. They do need to work at a CB2 position. They're struggling obviously with the secondary. So, but with those two, I'm going to say I think the Smith is going to be very impactful is what I think.
Yeah, John, what do you think about the tank edition?
I think it's a team that will be able to utilize him more than the team that he was on for sure. And I think that adds depth to the Eagles in general, right? So I think the Eagles, they're not a bum management franchise. They know exactly the moves that they need to do to strengthen their position inside of the NFC. And adding that is, to me, I think it just gives them a bigger stronghold just in case of injury. It also could be utilized in a similar situation like how Kyle Juszczyk is used for the blocking for the pocket for Brock Purdy or, post route drop passes. So I think that, you know, they're not one dimensional. Philadelphia is definitely not a one dimensional team. I think they're a multi dimensional team where they can open their horizons and see kind of where they want to go and how they want to perform and adapt
Yeah.
new plays and new players and take their strengths and utilize them on the field. And this is how they're getting so many wins and they adapt so well. So I think this is two really strong moves.
Yeah, and down south says Bisbee provides return man value as well.
That's right. He averages 17.6 yards past the 20 for the return. I just looked at that earlier today.
That's nice, man. Let's move into this cheats. Dang it. Shoot. The Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs. I gotta keep saying their name 60 times so I can get it right. Versus the Chargers. Yeah. So what do we think about that game in Brazil? Let's
Love
Waste
start.
of time.
Let's start with Mr. John Hamilton this time around.
I love that game. I love that game so much. I thought this year was going to be a spotlight for Justin Herbert if he doesn't perform and really give the team the opportunity to be in a good winning percentage this year to make it to the playoffs. I think that there was going to be potentially some trade going down into the 2026 season. I think that he performed extremely well, had a really good completion percentage. I think he utilized the ball around the field between WR1 all the way to the WR4, to be honest with you, tight ends too. I think he did a really good job moving the ball around down the field where he needed to be. And I thought they kind of exploited a little bit of how weak the secondary is with the Chiefs. It looked a little bit sus to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And the O-line of the Kansas City Chiefs is not what we're used to seeing.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes had to scramble a lot to make completions. And
Yeah,
it didn't look good.
Yeah, and that was the most interesting part, right? They didn't look like how they used to look in the past. Especially, I think the biggest takeaway for me was I wasn't surprised about the offense. I was more surprised about the defense.
Yeah.
Because Justin Herbert went 25 for 34, 318 yards with 3 touchdowns. Now,
Right.
let me remind everybody that his receiving core with Johnston had 79 yards, McConkey had 74 yards, and Keenan Allen, who just came back, had 68 yards, and then Coughlin obviously had 50. So when
Yeah.
you're talking about spreading the ball around, that's exactly what you was talking about. But go ahead. what else did you see in that game? What did you see? Do you think this is a thing that's been going around in the league, that Harbaugh is actually like a quarterback whisperer, and so he helps his quarterbacks develop. Now, is it too late for Justin at this particular point? Are they in win now mode? Like what happens with this? Because how old is Justin right now?
27
Oh,
years old.
old.
So he has about a 6 year window, right?
I think depending how well he keeps his body healthy and his arm strength, those are the two biggest factors as a quarterback. I think that he does have some duration of time and window left. Now, if it's going to be on the Chargers, is my biggest concern in the future for him. I agree with Harbaugh being a quarterback whisperer for sure. I mean, look at what he was able to do with Colin Kaepernick in the transition of him being a college to an NFL player. He utilized him in a playbook that made sense for that particular skill set for that quarterback. I think that Harbaugh is a phenomenal coach with what he did with college into the NFL, and vice versa. And with Herbert, he does have the talent. I really want to see him have consistency this year. And I saw consistency in game one against one of the hardest teams, so to speak, to play against. And also having to travel as far as they did, both teams, that does drain you a lot physically and mentally. I think that I'm pretty impressed with week one. I'm interested to see how he performs week two.
Yeah, Mark, your takeaways.
I want to say this. If you guys actually pay attention to that game, you need to run double coverage. Anytime they go to third down, anytime the Chargers run third down, the play is called third and Keenan. Third and Keenan. Because every time I turned around, it's like pass Keenan Allen, third down, pass Keenan Allen, third down, pass. And it's like, bro, how do y'all not see the repetition? It's the same thing all the time.
Right.
So
They didn't see, they didn't see it.
No, they did. They obviously didn't. So Kansas City's got to figure something out. That's one thing. As for Harbaugh being a quarterback whisperer, I mean, he was a decent quarterback when he was in the NFL. He, did a decent job with Kaepernick. Took him, obviously lost in the Super Bowl. Managed to cheat his way to a national title in Michigan. So I don't know. But as for Herbert, I think Herbert needs someone that can help lift him up and mentor him a little bit better. And so I do feel Harbaugh has the capability. He is a very much so is a player's coach. He stands up for him. Always wants to get the best out of them. So I still don't. I personally don't think the Chargers. I think you're going to see another three AFC West playoff team.
Yeah.
It's very possible, right? I mean, you got the Chargers, you got the Denver Broncos, and then whoever. I mean, between the Chiefs and the Raiders.
I think they fall to the third in their division.
Who's at the Chargers?
Yeah, I think they fall third in their division at the end of the season.
I agree. That's where I have them.
I think they do make a wild card depending how that entire division does play out based on a win record. I mean, we saw three teams go to the playoffs in the NFC North. It can absolutely happen with the AFC West. They're the two strongest divisions right there. So,
yeah, you're right. Moving on, though. Thank you guys for your input on that. But let's move on to the recap of the 1 o'clock PST game or 10 a.m. games and the 1 o'clock games, and then we'll talk about the night game. What is one game from the 10 o'clock and the 1 o'clock that stood out to you guys? Go ahead, John.
I'll start with the 1 o'clock. The 1 o'clock game that stood out to me the most.
No, just one from the 10 or 1, whatever, which one.
Okay, yeah. The 1 o'clock game, and it was the one that I went to. It was an interesting game to see it unfold the way it did. The Seattle Seahawks versus the 49ers. Okay. I think there were some strong takeaways and some very sloppy football that was played.
Right.
I honestly think both defenses did a really good job. It was a very low-scoring game. There was a lot of 3 and outs, especially on the Seattle side of the ball. Sam Darnold produced 150 passing yards. Brock Purdy produced 277, 2 touchdowns with 2 picks. But the biggest takeaway for me is that San Francisco, on the notes that I had here, they had no Kittle after the first, no Debo, no Ayuk, no Jawan Jennings. Brock Purdy on the game winning drive for the touchdown went 7 for 7 for 68 yards and a touchdown. I still think it's too early to say that both teams aren't going to be high caliber teams in the NFC West when they're just getting a lot more rookies on the teams. There's a lot of injuries on both sides that are hindering performance and 53-man roster. There's a lot of people coming back. And like what Mark had mentioned earlier, is that Brock Purdy is very unlikely to start week 2, which I wouldn't be upset at that going into the Saints and playing the Saints. I have full confidence. Um, with Mac Jones being able to operate under the Kyle Shanahan system to produce a win. But yes, I think that it's funny seeing 2024, the 2025 roll in, and we're still dealing with injuries. Seattle side of the ball, there's definitely mistakes that should be addressed, which I think they definitely will be. But Nick Bosa really pushing in that left or the right guard into Sam Darnold to get that ball. That was an amazing play. That game stood out to me as a defensive game, and I think that both defenses are going to perform really well throughout the entire season. So
Cool, cool. What about you, Mark? What's one game that stood out from the morning or afternoon game?
Um, the Packer game.
Okay.
Detroit, obviously they struggled. Um, but I will say this: a lot of people like, oh well, Green Bay handed Detroit the first loss. Obviously, using Detroit has lost both coordinators, going on to head coaching jobs. But for me, I'm going to talk about Green Bay's defense. The one thing they've struggled with a lot was the pass, and it actually has with the thing that they were strong with when they had Kenny Clark was the run defense. On the pass side, they had with the secondary issues, stuff like that. But the big thing that they gave up only 46 yards rushing combined as a team. So that, I mean, the rush defense definitely stepped up. Now, as for Goff with his passing, he had 225. Um, so it's an improvement what they've had. I do feel you see the Micah effect. It was talked about a lot, obviously, as the game was being played. But you really do see as he transitions into Green Bay. Um, I'm still skeptical. I still don't have Green Bay winning the division.
I do.
I mean, a lot of people do, especially
I
now
do.
with Micah. But I just think that's the problem that I see is there's not enough consistency. Jordan Love is having to spread the ball around drastically. There was not one guy that had more than 3 catches the entire game. So it's good that you have that on the offensive side. But the problem is though is that you're going to start leaving things open. So obviously week 1, there's always going to be issues across the board.
yeah,
Um, and I would say this. I think personally the NFL, I do not like that they played one of the biggest rivals in week 1 across the NFL. I was not a fan of that, um, because to me it's like, man, well, this is what we have to look forward to.
Well, they did that. They did that in. We're not here to talk college, but they did that in college too. With Texas playing against Ohio State. I think it sets the tone though. It sets the tone in the whole entire. It makes it more interesting down the stretch. Um, because if they go 0-1, right? Like it makes it more critical in the midseason to win more critical games to win the division versus getting things right. Would you say that the Packers have more to would you say that the Packers have more that they need to work on than the Detroit Lions do?
Yes, I think so. I
So
think the
whoa, whoa,
reason
whoa, whoa.
being
Wait,
is
hold on, hold on. You think that the Packers have more that they have to work on than Detroit Lions do?
yeah, I do.
Oh, dang. Okay.
I mean, but I'm gonna remember I'm a coach of the game, so I'm constantly looking at different things. Jordan Love, he had a couple good passes, but besides for the short, check down. I mean, he had he had some decent plays. But if it wasn't for the interceptions they had that allowed them, good field position, it was a defense that kept them in this game. Offensively, I'm still not impressed with it. Um, Josh Jacob only had 66 yards rushing, so they did not get the run going. The run was not going at all in Green Bay. It wasn't happening. All the running attack happened over in Buffalo. So that's the thing. I mean, obviously, we saw Derrick Henry over there. We can get into that here in a minute. But again, 66 yards from Josh Jacobs and only 46 yards combined from the Detroit running back. So that just shows you the run defense definitely was there on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, but Saquon, one of the most elite running backs, also had 60 something yards in week one as well. So I'm not too worried about the run game. I think it would develop on both sides on the Detroit and Packers. I think that the Detroit Lions have more that they need to figure out offensively, losing their center, obviously learning a new system, defensively learning new system, how Aiden Hutchinson's going to come out and actually play throughout the whole entire season, defensively, how they're going to stop teams instead of these shootouts, things like that. So that's what's going to be the most interesting thing for me. I think the Detroit Lions have more that they need to develop than Green Bay Packers. I think Jordan Love also played well, and yeah, I think after week one that it told me a lot about what the Packers' future could look like and what the Detroit Lions' future could look
Oh,
like.
the future can look great in Green Bay. I mean, they're
Dude,
young.
when I say future, I mean the season.
Yeah, I mean they basically they're a win now mode. We've talked about this,
Yeah,
but to me, again, offensively is where they struggled.
yeah,
Jordan Love had 188 yards passing. Rushing, they had, I mean, combined, they only had 266 yards combined offensively.
yeah.
So the offense is what struggled. That's why I say it's like, no, you're supposed to be as good as everyone says. Your 266 yards a game is not going to cut it.
Right.
Mhm.
So that's where I think personally, I mean, Goff had that passing by himself. I mean, at
Yeah,
least they broke 300.
yeah,
Yeah, I was pretty underwhelmed with some of the performance of the Detroit Lions kind of going into week one. I know it was against a rival, and that Green Bay did step up defensively in a lot of pieces in drafting. But I definitely think that both teams are kind of a rise from this. I think the biggest fallback with Green Bay does really fall on to Jordan Love and how he does perform this season. That seems to be the same go around every year that Jordan Love starts as a quarterback. I want to see him envelop more in his passing game, especially with his new rookie Golden. I think he's a stud that came out of
Golden
college.
is
He
huge stuff.
absolutely needs to be utilized because we're looking at someone that could be a top 10 wide receiver going into the 2026 season if he gets utilized from Jordan Love the way he needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna jump right into it and get it done quick so we can talk about this night game. But my pick is gonna be what shocked me was the Colts versus the Miami Dolphins. Who would have known that Danny Dimes was gonna go 22 for 29, 272 yards, one touchdown, and he's gonna rush for seven carries for 26 yards and two touchdowns. Who would have known that Danny Dimes was going to put on a show in Indianapolis?
I mean, he didn't look
I
bad.
did.
He didn't look bad in New York when he was quarterback. I kept trying to say the same thing for a lot of people for a long time that him and Trevor Lawrence have very comparable statistics and analytics, and I'm interested to see how he does in week two. But I have my pick going against him. So
Yeah, and down south says his new nickname is Indiana Jones.
oh my,
So, anyways, getting back to it, they win the game 33-8. Now, this really rides some concerns for Miami. I think for multiple reasons. We're thinking that Miami's this high caliber. Well, I believe that they were this high caliber offensive team. We have Tua, who has came off of multiple concussions and injury prone. They have Tyreek Hill, Waddle, they just got Darren Waller. A lot of people forget that they have a tight end, a Darren Waller, who's not a bad tight end at all. Um, let me go back to this real quick. Oh, he wasn't even targeted.
No, Waller, not at all.
Not at all. So, I mean, now we get to the place where we're thinking, is this the end of their chapter? Is this the year Tyreek leaves and goes back to the Kansas City Chiefs? There's a lot of
Tyreek
questions
ain't
that's
going. I'm gonna interrupt this real quick. Tyreek is not going anywhere because Tyreek is too busy getting in trouble. Because as of an hour ago, he got hit with a DV.
knives. There you go. You
So
guys hear it there first. But anyway, is this the end of that era? And what's going to happen? What's going on? How you doing? Appreciate you joining us. Prodigy Gaming. Hi, John Chosen. What's going on? What's good with you? And then we have Miami is still tanking for Tua.
they need to just give him the nickname of Hawk Tua because all he's doing is blowing it.
Yeah. So that's the most interesting game for me is what we got from the Colts. We didn't know if AR was going to be the answer. Is Danny now the question is Danny Dimes the answer? They
No,
they make me believe a little bit more into what they got going on in their system, and we'll talk a little bit about it in a little bit in our pick'ems. But let's move on to the night game, guys. We got the Ravens going into the Buffalo Bills in a crazy game that the Bills won 41-40. What was our takeaway from this crazy game before we end this week with the Monday night game?
so at the end of the day, Josh Allen showed up. He showed why he's the MVP. Derrick Henry messed up on the fumble, but that wasn't the big thing. It just showed me defensively, you had 81 points put on the board. That means neither defense showed up. And and the thing to me was Baltimore's defense has always been so highly respected, but it no, they it got rode hard and hung up wet is what exactly what happened.
What's going on, Ali? We know what you, brother. We're glad to see you too. But yeah, that was the biggest takeaway, right? Putting up 81 points in a game. That just tells you two defenses didn't show up. The biggest thing from me wasn't the fact that, well, number one, yeah, the Ravens defense on paper with Hamilton, Humphreys, Nate Wiggins,
Starks.
Starks, Mike Green, all these different players that they have on defense, and they still put up 41 points was number one alarming to me. And I think that they figure it out. I think they figure out the defense. They gel.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out down the stretch. But the other portion of it was that everything had to go right for the Bills in this game for them to beat the Ravens. It looked like Lamar was going to run away with this game and just play after play after play. It seemed like especially on third downs, Josh Allen made it happen some way, somehow. I
Well,
don't think I
a
don't
lot
think
of
that they,
stuff goes into this too, right? It's not just luck. Like this proves to so many people that don't understand this that Josh Allen can dissect a defense and has the playbook and the personnel behind him to move the ball in the inches to be able to get those first downs, to keep the drives alive, and to convert on those third downs. The Bills defense stepped it up in the last 2 minutes, in my opinion, and they were non-existent in the first three quarters. I just think that a lot of people don't understand, like, both quarterbacks are such high scoring teams and they're so high up on these defenses, but I don't think the defenses are there. I think this might have been an anomaly for the Baltimore defense, but they're playing a very high caliber quarterback and a very high caliber offense.
yeah, but I mean, to the defense though, they were up 15, wasn't for the fumble, you know,
It's
and
game over.
yeah, it's game over. But at the same in that there was a tip drill in the end zone that could have put him in fourth down situation.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is there was three exact plays that Josh Allen converted that shouldn't have happened, right? Like it was just I wouldn't call it luck. I would call it that's just the way the cookie crumbled. But I would just say that wouldn't be repeated in the next game. I guarantee 1,000%. It's not going to be repeated. I think, and poor management. We ain't talking about time management either. The Ravens were not killing the clock. They were scoring quick. So that was another problem. They didn't when they were up by 15, they weren't really trying to dissect, like Derrick Henry was pounding that ball and he was getting out of there. And it was like, okay, brother, like you could get down, like you could kill the clock a little bit,
Mhm.
like we don't have to go for 20.
My
Like,
big thing with Derrick Henry is that I do feel genuinely bad for him in that performance and not taking away the win. I did have the Bills winning that game. Um, However, Derrick Henry balled out. He almost rushed for 200 yards.
He did.
He
169.
had an insane performance, and
He
to
did.
not win when your running back has that much rushing yards, it just speaks volumes to me that the defense was not aligned the way it needed to be.
100%. And to piggyback that, I mean, isn't that what we were talking about all last year when they lost against the Bills? Is that they needed to pound the rock, and they pounded the rock,
Yep.
right? But the defense didn't step up, and look at where we're at, 41-40. The Bills win that game.
I was impressed with Keon Coleman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Let's move on to what Ali probably wants to talk about, and why he's probably popped in late is because he want to talk about that Monday night game, right, against the Vikings. When the Bears hosted the Vikings, Vikings did win that game, 27-24. I'm sorry, Ali. He a big Bears fan, but I apologize ahead of time. What do we take? There's some question marks that I will add to this conversation. Number one, hold on. First off, we got to get this. We got to get this up here. One defense was liquid cheeks, and the other one was just cheeks. Oh my gosh! All right. Let's lock back in.
Oh, wow.
All right. So the question mark was, obviously Vikings have a strong defense. Offensively, they're poised, but JJ McCarthy, question marks. Coming in first season, didn't play last year. Is he going to perform? Okay. Next question was on the other side is sorry, I'm getting distracted in the chat. But listen. So what I was gonna say is that one, Caleb Williams not adapting to the tempo of the game last year. I think he struggled in the tempo of the game, how fast paced the game was. And this year, with this type of protection, can he perform the way that he needs to perform to be able to get him to where he needs to get to, so that this team could evolve and get better? And then obviously we know that the Chicago defense. I mean, Chicago is known for a strong defense. Wasn't really too worried. So really the question marks was about two quarterbacks going head to head and who was going to perform better. And Ben Johnson's debut on what that offense is going to look like. What is your guys' thought process between those questions and question marks?
Yeah, I got a few of them. So with Caleb Williams, I think he did kind of envelop and process the tempo of the game in the first three quarters really, really well. I was really, really impressed by his game management throughout the first three quarters. I think the third quarter doesn't really necessarily rely on to him, to be honest with you. I think it was poor time management going into the game on the fourth quarter by maybe head coaching, play calls, so forth. I think there were some missed opportunities definitely on both sides of the ball. I definitely was impressed with Loveland, the new tight end, and Roma Dunze performing the way that they needed to do offensively. However, the defense definitely kind of fell into shambles a little bit towards the end. Now, stepping up at the end in the second half would have been JJ McCarthy. In the first half, I was really worried that he was concerned more so about throwing a pick, because a quarterback that throws a ball low, which we saw numerous amount of times in that game, towards the ground where the wide receiver would have to fall and drop to catch the ball, he was very concerned about throwing a pick in his first debut. I think the coach kind of talked to him in the locker room during halftime and said, hey, you know what? Just believe in yourself, have the confidence. You saw a higher trajectory on the balls that were thrown in the second half. He was able to put his players in the positions to catch it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jay Jett is a go getter. He'll get those balls. But yeah, I definitely think that uh, the Vikings going down the field and just kind of it looked like the Bears like mentally gave up in the fourth. I don't know what was going on in the fourth quarter, but yeah, JJ definitely performed really well. I think it could have gone either way in that game if it was repeated again. And I think that both quarterbacks have a lot of growth to do inside of the NFL under the coaching staff that they do have, which are two of the best coaches in my
Uh-oh, he froze. I think
for quarterback coaches.
oh, you fro you
And
sorry, brother, you froze a little bit. I think you got that ATT wireless internet.
yeah, I think it's because I'm sitting on the patio right now.
It's all good. What was that last piece? Give us
Here,
the
I'm gonna
last
say
piece.
this.
Give us the last piece, John.
The last piece, I was just saying, I think both are really good quarterbacks. I think they're talented. I think they have two of the best offensive quarterback whispering coaches in the NFL, in my opinion. And I think that speaks about how well Sam Darnold did in Minnesota and how he just performed in Seattle. I think JJ is going to have a very confident coach within his ability to grow as a quarterback inside the NFL. Caleb Williams as well with Ben. So I'm interested to see what happens for the rest of the season.
Yeah, 100%. And before I hand it over to Mark, who's probably going to get on Caleb's helmet, let me go ahead and read this comment here. Caleb, I think, got too comfortable, lightened up on the gas pedal in the second half and needs to learn to remain aggressive. Then we have DP who says, I dropped Caleb tonight in fantasy, and he followed up by saying like a bad habit. And yeah, so go ahead, Mark. Give us the Caleb hate.
I'm gonna
Give-
let you give your take real quick, and then I'll finish up real, because it won't take me very long.
Okay, no, we just wanted to hear the Caleb hate, but okay. So this is what I would say. I would say that Caleb looked better than last year. Obviously, he got the protection that he needed. Obviously, he made some throws that I thought he wouldn't have made last year. Um, Honestly, he does. I would agree with John. Definitely needs to develop in the system. I will give him this year because of what I've seen when he played against a strong Vikings defense. JJ McCarthy, second half, lit it up and figured it out. I think it's promising for the Vikings. I think JJ McCarthy played and answered some of the questions that I had. But my thing is we have a long season to go. We got two quarterbacks here that are need some improvement, need some development, and I would agree with Ali. Caleb does still need to remain aggressive, but in a positive way when he's making his reads. He needs to make more better reads and uh, use his legs some more too. But go ahead. We want to hear the Caleb hate.
Okay, so when you say he looks better than last year, were you just talking about his fingernails or something? Because I saw the same exact Caleb from last year as I did last on Monday night.
No, I don't talk fingernails. I just talk football.
Okay, so we're on the same page. So I don't know what game you were watching, because the game that I watched was the same Caleb Williams, not learning to affect with the game. When you talk about, oh, he did decent when it comes to moving the ball. Now, as for statistically, if you just want to look at stats itself, yeah, JJ struggled. You know, Rookie quarterback coming off ACL injury, learning. Caleb has now been there for a year with a lot of these teams, went 21 for 35 with 210 yards passing.
And a touchdown.
Okay, and a touchdown. We'll give him his credit for his one touchdown.
Six
He also
carries.
had a rushing. He also had 6 carries, 58 yards.
And
Still,
a rushing touchdown.
and he also got sacked 2 more times. Okay, QBR was a 63.8. Caleb Williams he just, if you watch the same game that I was watching, he's doing this. He's running around the field way too much.
Who played better, him or JJ?
Who played him better, him or JJ?
Yes.
JJ
To
played
me,
better.
to
JJ
me,
JJ had 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also
we're
had a
not looking at statistically.
he had a critical interception.
Caleb Williams managed to get sacked twice, and one of them was on a critical play that they, where they turned the ball over on downs.
My big thing
My,
is
my,
that
my,
Caleb.
my thing is I'm not saying that Caleb Williams is Josh Allen. All I'm saying is that he did play better than he did last year.
Yeah,
And
I
and
agree.
that
I
one
agree
did.
with that. I think that's a good takeaway. But Caleb Williams did go 21 for 35 on 210 yards and 1 touchdown. And as that's not horrible, I was expecting a little bit more on the completion percentage when he's throwing that much. I do know that some of those were throwaways where he was avoiding getting sacked or he got pressured.
Which is good on his part because he took
It is good.
he held the ball a lot and he got sacked a lot.
It led to Chicago being able to kick a field goal in the second quarter by him throwing away the ball and then him able to set up the fourth for the field goal when he was trying to convert. However, I don't think this single game is going to be a definitive answer on who is bad and who is good for these two particular teams. I think they're both two new rookie quarterbacks. Obviously, Caleb going into a second year. For him to be able to be titleized as good or bad, if I'm being honest with you, I'd put him in the same category as I would Jordan Love.
Caleb Williams as Jordan Love?
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you right now, I'm not high on Jordan Love.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
I knew he was gonna say something.
Hold on a second. I'm not high on Jordan Love at all.
John, high for cover.
Hey, no,
I'm gonna say this.
That's what I'm saying.
Williams, no. Okay, I'm gonna say this. We want to sit there and have to talk about Caleb Williams. Everyone's like, oh, he improved. When you look at
to
what
our
they
viewers,
did,
to our viewers, give Mark some grace right now because he does hate Caleb Williams.
No, it has nothing to do with hate. I don't like it when a person comes in like, oh, he thinks he's so great. He swore up and down, I'm not playing in Chicago. I want to go somewhere else. I don't want to do this. You go where you go. I didn't agree with Eli Manning. I'm a huge Peyton fan, but I didn't agree with the Eli bullcrap. I also was not a fan of John Elway when he told the Colts he wasn't going to play there, and that was in 1983. I was 3 years old, but when I learned the history of it, no, you play for who drafts you.
Okay, let me ask you this question, Mark.
I'm going to say, hold on. I'm going to say this real quick.
Okay,
when it comes to Caleb Williams, he does not understand. He doesn't like challenge. He has the same problem that everybody has in today's society. They just want to be handed things. They think you did a good job. Let me go ahead and pat you on your back.
He did get handed something. He got handed an offense that Justin Fields deserved.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And
I agree with that.
Justin Fields. I would take Justin Fields over Caleb Williams any day of the week.
Oh, I 100% agree. I think Justin
100%.
Fields on the Bears now would have performed, and they would have been a team to look at to make a deep run in the playoffs.
They would have beat the Vikings.
They would have beat the Vikings 100% with.
But Justin. To say Caleb is in the same category as Jordan, that's like putting Kate. So that means that you must have Brock Purdy in that same category too.
I would say, based off the first game, I'd have Brock Purdy on the top of those three. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm.
That's crazy.
All
right, let's get to our chat.
Real quick, though. This is the only thing we need to put up on the chat, and this is one thing. The Bears played as the Bears, and at the end of the day, down south.
Yes. Okay. I will say a statistic that is mind blowing that I found out watching that game is that the Bears are 3 now for 16 in their division wins, which is not a statistic that you want to have. So hopefully they can turn it around for the season. But moving forward, yeah, go ahead, Chosen.
Yeah, we're on a little time restraint. So, guys, we're trying to get this to you as fast as we can. But DP says that's a shirt. I don't talk fingernails. I talk football. Yeah, we got to put that on a shirt, brother. We got to put that on a shirt. Yeah, but does the sack fall on Caleb or the O-line? We'll talk about O-line next time. That's just disrespectful. We have Caleb can't tie, loves cleats right now. Okay. Oh my gosh, we're trolling, bro.
Oh my god.
Um, he doesn't like challenges. The coaching staff last year didn't even review tape with him. What are we talking about?
Does he have to have his hand held? Last I checked, a great quarterback sits there and reviews tape himself.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right, what do
yeah.
we got for our next segment?
Yeah. Next, let's try to get this wrapped up. We got about 3 minutes, guys. What is one game? We'll skip all. Just give me one game for next week that seems maybe a trap game for you that you just don't know, or the most exciting game that you're excited to watch, and then we'll do our pick'ems.
Oh man.
Mine is just
I'll let Mark go.
mine actually just it's honestly I want to see how Jaden Daniels is going to handle the defense. So it's going to be the Green Bay game since he is a mobile quarterback. So I'd like to see what he's going to be able to do. Um, so I think that's going to be a pretty bad beating when it comes to Jaden Daniels. He's going to have to rely on the pass drastically.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's game.
Mine is going to be. I have two. They're tied. I have to say both. The Sunday night game with the Falcons and Vikings. Both were drafted in 2024 for their quarterbacks. It's out Minnesota. I do have Minnesota in that, but I think it could swing either way. But I'm favoring Minnesota. When it's 50-50, you always take the home. Monday night as well. Is the defense for the Texans gonna show out and beat the Bucks, or is that high performing offense gonna beat the Texans at home? I have the Bucks in that. I think the Bucks offensively just have way too many pieces to scatter on the field for the Texans to be able to stop. So
Yeah, John, you took my damn. You took the ones I was gonna say. So I got to go look again and see which one I want. I got the
you could also say backup quarterback for the 49ers against the Saints, and the Saints aren't favorable in this either, even with the backup. So maybe the Saints take a win in this.
Yeah. Let me choose a different game. Let me go with man, I could be biased and go with the Eagles and Chiefs. The Eagles, I can go with that game, or let's do Patriots and Dolphins. Let's be a little different. You know what? No, let's leave Patriots to Kim Pat talk. Dang.
Take the Bears.
Okay, let's go with the Colts and the Broncos. Then let's just go with that one. Is Danny Dimes going to repeat the success that he did last week? To be able to, because I mean, Bo Nix, he threw for 2 touchdowns. He did have an interception in that game. He did have a fumble. Didn't play really well in the Denver win. And the Colts played really well. So let's see what happens between those two. Let's see if Broncos can put it all together. I believe. Is Ingram still injured? Because he got injured in that game.
Let me check.
Yeah, so that would be interesting to see too, and see if they could. If Bo Nix was just having a bad game, or is this going to be one of those slump years? And yeah, that would be my game. That would be the game that I guess I'm forced to choose since that's what happens when I choose last.
Ingram is out for week 2.
Okay, so there we go. That makes it more interesting of a game. What we didn't mention too on the Colts is Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren, playing 6 different positions, is now on the Colts, and he's playing okay.
I called that. I said he's going to be better than Brock Bowers this season with receiving yards.
All right, we'll go through these games real quick. These are our pick'ems for the week, guys. And you're going to hear it right here, so we'll be able to roll the tape back. And you guys will be able to, I guess we'll stand in the paint for next week. Each of us will go through it. Let's go with a Thursday night game. Who do you guys got? We got the Commanders visiting the Packers.
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Green Bay. All right, Sunday. We have Eagles going to the Chiefs.
Eagles.
Eagles.
I also have the Eagles. Let's go Rams versus the Titans.
Lambs.
Yep, the Lambs.
I got the Rams as well. Jaguars and Bengals. Do we need to talk about this game?
No. The Bengals stepped up defensively. They're going to win this game.
Mm-hmm. I got the Bengals as well. Ravens and Browns. Do we have to talk about this one?
No, that's a lock.
Okay, we all got the Ravens on that one. We got Bills and Jets. Do we need to talk about this one?
Nope.
That's a lock.
Okay, Bills it is. Everybody's in favor with the Bills. We got Patriots and the Dolphins. Do the Dolphins turn it back around, or do the Patriots get their first win of the season? Who gets the
Patriots.
first win? Who gets the first win of the season?
Pats.
The Pats get it. Tyreek Hill isn't playing week 2.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins on this one, guys. So I'm different from y'all.
It's okay.
We got Niners. He says Brock Purdy is out. Do we got the Niners or do we got the Saints? Who gets the win?
Niners.
The Niners still pull it out.
I think the Niners as well. We got the Giants going to them Dallas Cowboys. Who do we got?
Cowgirls.
Yeah, the Cowboys do win this one at home.
Okay, Cowboys as well. Bears and Lions.
Do we really need to talk about that?
I got Lions.
The Lions.
You got Lions too, Mark?
Of course.
Okay, moving on. We got Seahawks versus the Steelers.
Steelers.
Steelers for sure.
I also got the Steelers. We got Broncos and Colts.
I got the Broncos in this.
I also got the Broncos. Mark? Broncos. All right. Moving on to the Panthers and Cardinals, a trap game.
No.
Panthers.
Cardinals. One of the hardest teams to play at home.
Yeah, I also have the Cardinals. And you said, who did you got, Mark? Panthers?
Panthers.
Okay.
Call of Duty's not out, so Kyler Murray is not going to be focused on that.
So this is the one I'm going to change my answer. But you guys pick Falcons or Vikings?
I'm going to take Vikings at home.
I got Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota.
I'm going to go with the Falcons, guys. I'm going to go with the Falcons, man. I believe in Penix. Sorry, guys. Let's see here. Monday Night Football, we got a double header. Who do you guys got? Chargers or do you got the Raiders? I know who Mark got.
Raiders.
Which one was first? I'm so sorry.
Chargers or the Raiders?
I'm going to take the Chargers. I just think not to take away anything from the Raiders. I think they're going to be a good team. I think the win in Brazil is going to keep moving forward for the Chargers.
All right. I also got the Chargers. And then we got our last game with the doubleheader. We got the Buccaneers versus the Texans. Who do you guys got?
Houston.
I got the Bucks in this one.
Let me think here. You know what? Give me the Texans. I mean, on my parlay, I have the Bucks, but give me the Texans for this pick'em. I'm gonna go different on the pick'em. So let's go Houston. I think Houston get back.
I love that. I think those are all really good picks, and the ones that you guys chose, I think those could absolutely swing that way as well. But
swing that way is crazy.
Well, depending how you take the information with the painted nails and. But yes, I think the games could go either way based off of the picks that you guys had chose. However, based off of who's playing in these games and the games being indoor at home, I definitely have some of these teams favored to win. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I did win last week. I did win by 1 game.
Yeah, I had 4 losses. I had 4 losses on my pick'em last week, so I'm gonna put.
I had 3 and only 2 on my 16 leg parlay.
12-4 right now. All right, so this is the part where we talk about real quick Hearts and House. You guys want to visit Hearts and House today to go get your adoption? They do. Obviously, Sarai's not on here to talk about it, so we'll just mention it real quick. But you can click on that QR code, go visit them at their website, go check them out. That is the nonprofit we support. They do a dog rescue. They also do hearts and meows, and Mark is still waiting for hearts and hooves. But you can go right now to get your cat or your dog at that QR code, and we do have a lovely dog right there. Say hello to Stacy. Stacy, I believe Stacy is still waiting for a home, but check her out as well. And then, of course, go visit us at www.sportsloungemedia.com to go see everything. We do have some things that are coming out as we are coding our website. You're going to be able to see more of John. You're going to see him be able to put out some prop bets and things like that. You're going to be able to subscribe to. You're going to want to go check it out, www.sportsloungemedia.com. You're also going to be able to see that character that's been jumping on our live, Mr. DP, on Prime Time. Go visit him on the website as well. Be able to code that and be able to see the actual game and see him commentary on those games. And it would be interesting. He keeps it always live, but you can go check him out as well. We have all that you have. We have 7 shows, and we are one network. We are the Sports Lounge Media. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for giving up your time. We know you're a busy man, John, and we appreciate your time for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. And good luck this week with your guys' picks.
All right.
Awesome. We'll see you guys next week.